Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show. If you're new to the channel, this is where we look at the numbers in Arizona real estate, try to figure out what kind of general direction we're going into. All eyes are on this month. It's now the first week of January. This is when we usually see an explosion of new listings. Are we going to have more new listings than we did last year, which is going to be good for buyers, kind of uncomfortable for sellers? What are we seeing? So I'm going to do a little deep dive here, show you what we see so far. You kind of just have to ignore the holidays. But there are some things that it's okay taking a peek at right now. One of them is this. Now, I track on a daily basis the number of new listings that came on, followed by the number of homes considered back on market. Then I subtract canceled listings and I subtract expired listings. That gives me a net number. Here's where we're at, folks. The blue line is last year. The red line is this year. Look at new listings over 7 days, 7-day period. These will vary a little bit. Gauging them all on January 4th last year, January 4th this year. You can see we're pretty close. Got 2,094 there this year, 2,281 last year. So new listings so far have not exceeded last year, but they really don't start piling on until about the 15th of January. But if we just look at last year, so far the same. Here's a shocker, back on market, identical. 1,039 to 1,025. So number of homes that said, okay, the holidays are over, let's put it back on. It's the same damn number. Canceled listings. Well, this one, we got more, 601 versus last year of 493. That's not significant. And then we look at expireds. Now, expireds jumped up this week to 2,750. But last year they were 2,384. So there's more expired listings this year by about 400 homes. How many of those end up being back on market? I think probably a pretty fair percentage. So the net that we see last year on this week, our total net listings increased by 443. This year we're down by 228. What that tells me is, oh boy, here we go again. We're going to end up looking just like last year in every number. As we move forward, I'm not seeing anything breaking out. And remember, even last year, we were looking at our pending listings and it just mirrored 25 versus 24 week after week. I was kidding, they got the memo. Okay, you can buy this week, but every week. So we can count on going up as we get into this year, simply because we do every year. Will it exceed where we were here in 2025? I don't know, but that's going to be something that I'm going to watch. The other thing I'm going to watch too is number of price changes per week. So you can see here, we only had 715 on the 21st. Well, who's going to lower their price 4 days before Christmas? So that just dropped. Nobody did anything. It's Christmas time, just let it ride. Heck with it. But they're not increasing. And I don't think they're going to increase in January. I think they're going to remain about the same, probably right about here-ish. So I don't think people are going to come in after December and go, all right, let's reduce the price, because there's always optimism in January. It's a new year. It's new this, new that. Things are going to be better. Not seeing it yet. Here's one that's interesting that I like to share, and this is list price and sales price per square foot at the time of contract. Let me dwell on that for just a moment. So you got a list price here of $356, a sales price of $337. And this says average list price per square foot at contract. What was the asking price the day the contract was signed? Now, it's only going to tell you the sales price down here once it closes. And this down here is going to show you for January 26th, not January 26th, January of 26th, that last year, comparatively, we're looking at contracts that were written in December, okay? So right now, you're seeing this gap between the number, the price per square foot at the time of closing and the actual sales price. But I don't think it's telling the whole story. That's the price at the time they got a contract. What did it take for them to get that contract? They priced it up here. They went down, they went down, they went down. Nobody was coming to see the house. Nobody was calling. They went down, down, down. finally got a contract. I would love to see the number track that said sales price versus original ask price. That's where we're at. That's the problem. So that's when you're seeing people go, oh, I can't believe how much my neighbor marked their house down. Well, maybe they just came in a little too hot. That's kind of what I'm seeing. And our active listing count, it's more the same. You can see that it mirrored every year prior, coming down. And then we kind of went up in 2024 last year, kind of went down 2023. That was an interest rate shock. So people just kind of sat on their hands. Of course, you can see how bleak it got for listings down here, 4,672. Compare that to today with 23,000 homes. No wonder there were bidding wars. There were probably 4,900 contracts written in a 7-day moving average and only 4,600 homes available. Pretty bad. That means bidding wars. Where do I see this going? Well, we peaked right about 26,000 here in May, June. I'm expecting us to be up about here in the 27,000 range. And the reason I say that, I don't see anything in my little Rick Helps crystal ball that says interest rates going to come flying down and listings are going to start moving quicker. They could. But there isn't anything that I see that shows that we're going to have a drastic change in interest rates. And that's what I want to watch here is what are we looking for? We want to see where listings are going in relationship with the number of contracts that are following that. It's always about supply and demand. It's nothing more than that. There's a lot of different factors that determine supply and demand, but for now, that's what we're looking at. Now, if you want to see what's going on in your neighborhood, there's a QR code up in the corner there. You can request a zip code report or a neighborhood. Had somebody just this week request a report for 3 different cities, 3 different areas. Pretty easy for me to put together. Yes, I use AI, but I use 2 different AI programs. I have a prompt where I tell it specifically what I want. I go through and I look at it to make sure the number's right. I double check it with Cromford, but I've also got them pulling data from Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor.com. So it gives you a pretty good look at what's going on in your neighborhood. I also have a link down below that you can sign up to get bi-monthly market reports sent to you. You'll just get a report that says, beginning of the month market report for the Phoenix metro area, not metro market area, which includes all of Maricopa County. So if you're interested in that, be sure and look at those links down below. If you have any other questions, don't forget to shoot me an email at rick@rickhelps.com. Have a great beginning of the year. Take care.